can see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining.
Well, good morning and welcome to episode 830 of the Lots Project Morning Show, where the coffee's strong, the opinions are stronger, and everything's filter free. I'm Brian, your host, and it's... Whoa, wait a second. Sorry. Got alerts flying all over the screen. Clear that. All right. Anyway, let's start over with that. I'm Brian, and today is Monday, March 17th, 2025. This morning, I am drinking a Brian's Blend from foodforestfarms.com because life's too short for shitty coffee and not having alerts flying all over the screen. Anyway, at Food Forest Farms, your beans are roasted by a real human hands using a clean stream air roaster. More than just a customer, you're always family. Get 10% off with code LOTS10, and the shipping is always free. While you're there, check out the C4 Club for even more awesome perks. Today, I've got an awesome story-packed show, a handyman gig gone wrong, some wild weather updates, a fresh conspiracy theory that got me thinking that I found over on Noster the other morning, plus an update on my driveway and roadwork progress. Grab some coffee, smash that like button, and let's get started. Wow. That's been a shit show this morning. I've been struggling with Zap.stream off and on here for a while, and I think they might have changed the host key again. But yeah, when things don't start on the other end of StreamYard likes to throw a fit and throw alerts all over the place, so it's kind of distracting. Good morning, Pip. Pip was in early, looks like, doing his little history segment. Again, 1776, today in 1776, American Revolution, the British Army evacuates Boston, ending the siege of Boston. And looks like 1966, off the coast of Spain in the Mediterranean, the DSV Alvin submarine finds a missing American hydrogen bomb. That's probably good they found a missing bomb. And happy birthday today to Nat King Cole, born in 1919. John Palmer, good morning, good day, and good week to you. Mike's Homestead, thanks for stopping in. How was your weather, Mike, over there? You're not too far from here. Did you end up getting any wild weather there on Friday? I guess it was Friday night or Saturday. All day is when we were around getting those warnings and everything around here. We didn't get too bad. I'll talk about that a little later. But anyway, it's a Monday morning. Here we are again. First thing up, what do I got here? First thing up is Handyman gig went wrong. Well, Handyman gig went right and wrong. Handyman gig went well. I'll start there. I was on Facebook the other day last week, so it would have been after the show, Monday or Tuesday, just in a local Facebook group. I was scrolling through and I saw somebody needed a little work done here right in town. So they were a couple miles from me. Their ad was like, I need someone to cut the legs off a bed frame with a chainsaw. And I kind of sighed and I was like, oh, well, I don't really know what that's all about, but I have a small chainsaw. I have a chainsaw available. We have a little electric chainsaw, so wouldn't have to haul the thing outside to use a gas chainsaw. I don't have to use gas inside. Lots less mess, lots less exhaust, and yeah, just noise and the whole thing. So that little 12-inch DeWalt chainsaw that I've been using to process our firewood, I thought would be a perfect thing for that. So the post had only been up a couple minutes, and I sent her a message and I said, hey, I can help you with this. I can do this. When are you looking to have it done? I can probably swing over right now. And she's like, no, I got this, and the other thing going on right now. Maybe tomorrow. Can you give me a call at noon and we can set things up? I was like, sounds good. So thought about it overnight. I was like, this can't be that hard. She just wants the legs cut off. I said the only thing that could get a little wonky is if that chainsaw blade or the chainsaw bar was tilted at all. Might get a little uneven legs. If you've ever tried to fix an uneven table and you start taking off a little bit off the leg here, a little bit off the leg there, and then it never ends up sitting flat. And the other thing is if they weren't exactly all cut off the same, I was worried that it wouldn't fit flat. But I had no idea what the bed frame looked like, what the legs were, what they actually were. She told me that they were fence posts, and I was like, okay, well, is this one of the big rough timber bed frames that cost thousands and thousands of dollars, or did they go find some old rotted cedar posts and throw a bed together? No idea, no pictures or anything. So the next day I gave her a call when we agreed, and I went over, and man, I pulled up to the house. I was pretty sure, like 95% sure I was in the right place, but in Tennessee, it gets kind of sketchy. Some of the driveways you go up, some of the places you roll into, you kind of look around and say, I don't know if I really am supposed to be here. First of all. Second of all, if I'm not supposed to be here, I don't think I'm going to want to find out that the hard way. So I went and knocked on the door, no answer. Had enough service to send a Facebook message and send that message and say, I think I'm at your house. And so I get a message back that says, yep, go right in under the carport, go in the side door there, we're inside. And I was like, okay. I felt like I was getting set up, ambush or something. So I go in to check things out, left tools in the car in case I had to make a quick getaway, and walk in. And let's just say they're collectors. They're collectors. Got a lot of stuff. So I make my way through, and I come up to a woman who is she's walking with a walker, very slowly. And I realized why no one had answered the door or preferred not to answer the door. Met her. She was super nice. Go walking through the house, and her husband was on the couch, obviously infirmed, trouble breathing, oxygen, all sorts of stuff. And so it was quickly coming together why I was there to work on things. It seemed like he had plenty of tools and all sorts of stuff in the garage and whatnot. He obviously has gotten old and not able to take care of stuff. So they're looking for somebody to do some work. Turns out that they needed the leg shortened on the bed because he was having trouble transferring from his wheelchair into the bed and back and forth. So needed the bed lowered a little bit. Excuse me. And so I checked it out. It was a really cool bed frame. He actually used round. He had one or two round fence posts, like 4-inch fence posts that he had left over from a project, and he made a really cool bed frame out of like 2x6s, 2x4s, and the posts for the corners. It needed to be dropped about 10 inches. It was pretty straightforward. Brought plastic in, had my little chainsaw, marked them up. She was around. We just flipped the mattress off the bed, flipped it up on its side, zip, flipped it over on its other side, zip, flipped it back down. It was nice and steady, right, exactly the right length that they wanted it. Got the mattress back on, and she says, "Hey, would you mind plugging in the TV in here?" And I was like, "Wait, what?" I mean, I know you're kind of old and frail and whatnot, but you plug the TV in, really? Turned out that they had some work done. Had some ceiling work done, and they had unplugged the TV, moved some stuff around. I don't know if they had it painted or what, or how long ago it actually was. But the guy that had done the work moved the TV stand and set it on top of the plug. So when they put it back, they couldn't get the plug from underneath the TV stand to plug the TV back in. So couldn't use it. So I was able to get that done for them. I pulled it out, pulled out the plug, got it plugged in. And she started talking to me about, do I know how to work on toilets? Do I know how to change toilets? Do I know how to do this? And I was just like, I don't know. It was pretty freaking warm in there, and I had some place to be. And I was like, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't have a toilet. I use composting toilet. It's been a long time since I've had indoor plumbing. Just, making my way towards the door. On my way, she wrangled me and asked me if I could hang up her cable that they knocked down. They had like their TV cable ran from room to room. It was a wired mess, but it had knocked down, and it was like hanging in front of the doorway. And they asked, since I was tall, if she gave me a nail and a hammer, if I could tack it up over the door frame again. And I was like, okay, yeah, somebody's gonna get hurt. Let me do this real quick, and then I got to get out of here. And so I grabbed a step stool, and she gave me some nails and a little hammer. And the nails were already all up there, and literally I just popped the cable back into the nails that it had been in prior. So not a big deal. And we go over, and she asked me to sit down. She was going to send me. She paid me Venmo, and so sit down, and she's getting my information. She's getting her phone out, and we started talking, and got talking to her husband, and nice folks. It's just exactly what I had suspected. Is he just got to a point where, I don't know if maybe COPD or some sort of lung illness, and just can't do anything anymore. Stuck on the couch, drugged out on oxygen, and it was kind of heartbreaking to talk to him, because it sounds like he used to do a lot, and I think it sounds like he used to take pretty good care of stuff. But they started asking me if I knew how to do this, that, and the other thing. They wanted, they needed a vent hood put in over their stove, and run outside. And like I said, I didn't have a whole lot of time right then. I wanted to get out to the property. I had some stuff to check out there. And I said, I can come back next Monday, today, and check this stuff out, and see if I can do it. So I don't really have time to look now. I'll come and take a look, and if I can do it, I'll get you a quote. So I went on my way, and later that evening, I sent her a message back, and I said, when I come on Monday, I'll take a look at that toilet that you said you needed worked on, and the vent hood, and see what I can do. And she wrote back a little while later and sent me a list of 8 other jobs. So 8 total jobs that she wanted me to quote. And I was like, wow. From going over to cut the legs off a bed frame with a chainsaw to bidding 10 or 8 to 10 jobs, because a couple of them were a couple of different things within the job. I was like, this could turn out nice. This could be a nice little side hustle here. And so I wanted to cover my bases. I mean, I am an anarchist. I'm a voluntarist. I don't really think I think it's a lot of bullshit, a lot of the regulations and things around. But being a non-resident in another state, maybe in a small town, not maybe in a small town, in a small town where you don't really know what's going on, I wanted to kind of cover my bases on what I was allowed to do, what I wasn't allowed to do. It's a different story when you're local. You got networks. It's word of mouth. It's cash overhand. It's this, that. I don't know many people here. I don't know them real well, if anything. And I just didn't know. I didn't know what the deal was. So I started diving into Handyman rules, regulations, and laws here in Tennessee. And from what I came up with, and this might be completely wrong, I dug as far as I could and got very, very frustrated. But what it looks like is you can't touch anything that's basically touching electric if it's not yours. Homeowners can do whatever the hell they want. Like a lot of places, you can work on your own stuff. But the catch comes when you are hired to help anybody else. It appears that anything touching the electrical system in the house or the plumbing system in the house. So this is down to changing outlets, hooking up the electric for a vent fan, coincidentally, changing faucets, changing outlets, anything like that requires some sort of licensing. Obviously, the electrical requires an LLE, which is a limited license electrician license, and any of the plumbing requires an LLP, the same for plumbing. The electrical license isn't horrible. It's you got to pass a test. You got to pass you got to pass a test, basically code test, National Electric Code, and I looked at it, could probably pass it, but it is completely unnecessary. It's all sorts of commercial code and everything else that you wouldn't even be near for a handyman job, especially changing an outlet or putting in a vent hood. The plumbing is even worse. You need 2,000 hours of experience plus pass the test. So that's like a year of experience. I'm guessing there are some, maybe there's language in there for local exemptions, this, that, and another. But I don't have time to play those fucking games. I don't know where the county lines here are. I don't know where the regulations are, this, and, like I said, if I was local, I could probably navigate this way easier, but I can't put myself up. I can't put myself in the line of fire like that. And what the restrictions are, and I dove down into, can I have people sign waivers? Can it be a contract where the homeowner is clearly made aware of the fact that I don't have a license or this and that? And it said no. Basically, in the end, if anything happened to that house and it is determined, which by an insurance company could easily be determined, that some work was done that caused the damage that they were having to pay for, it was done by someone unlicensed, i.e. me, they won't pay the claim, and they will encourage the homeowner to get the money from the person that did the job without the license. So can you get around it? I'm sure you can. Do I feel like jumping through the hoops for a couple of grand to put myself on the hook like that? Probably not. So I'm going to have to call her today and explain that all to her, let her know I'm not going to be able to do those. So it was a cool little gig. It was fast, but it got me thinking I wanted to maybe do a little side hustling around here. But the rules and restrictions have kind of made me not that interested, because the stuff I'm interested to do, I can't. I would be interested in going out and installing new ceiling fans or outlets or changing things up or changing a faucet or a toilet or anything like that. I'm not into painting. I'm not into all the stuff that you wouldn't need a license for necessarily. So that's kind of a bummer. And it's also interesting to see, since I've been here, I've been looking at these posts in the local Facebook groups when people need a handyman, and seeing the number of people that jump on them and comment on them in the comments. I was thinking it was Wild Wild West. I'm curious how many of these folks know this stuff that I found out in an afternoon. I'm just curious how many folks are out there putting themselves in the line of fire of insurance companies. This is one thing where I'm going to choose not to poke the bear, I think. So anyway, it was a good gig, paid well, and I'm guessing it would have paid well for more work, but it turned out that 7.5 out of 8 of the jobs that she requested a quote on, I wouldn't legally be able to do. So there's that. Anyway, that was my handyman gig from the week. It was interesting. Anyway, before we dive into the next topic, I want to tell you about an awesome opportunity. If you've been curious about AI and ChatGPT, how to use ChatGPT effectively, the class that I took last month is going to be running again. You can check out Joshua Hale's 30-day ChatGPT challenge. Last month it was 28-day. Now we bumped it up to 30-day. I took it last month, and it's worth every penny, whether you're a beginner or looking to sharpen your skills with AI and ChatGPT. This is a workshop that will help you get the most out of those AI tools. You can sign up today. I'm going to drop the link in the comments, and it's also in the video description and the audio description. So if you're watching later, or you want to check it out, or you're listening, definitely check down in the notes and find the link. I 100% recommend Joshua's program. If you whether you've never even logged on to ChatGPT, you don't even know how to sign up, you don't know where to go, you don't know how to make an account, up until you're using it, you understand the premise of it, you're just not getting out of it what you want. This is going to change that. So sign up today. It's going to start here in a couple weeks at the end of March and run through 30 days of April. Definitely want to check that out at the link in the comments or the description. Next thing we're gonna do, move on to some crazy weather. We had a rough one Friday night into Saturday. I asked Mike's Homestead here how his weather was. He said lots of rain, but no warnings and little wind. We had wind for sure. We definitely had wind, but we were able to avoid the majority of the rain or the warnings. We got a ton of rain. We got a bunch of downpours. We got some heavy winds, but it was just sporadic. It wasn't like Oklahoma. Oklahoma got to Missouri. I know Missouri got a bunch of tornadoes. I'm not sure Oklahoma. Missouri got a bunch. Arkansas, it looked like there were a ton of tornado warnings in East Tennessee, Kentucky, all around us, Mississippi, Alabama. And there was this big open spot in West Tennessee. We didn't really get any of the tornado warnings. They never really manifested here. But, man, going into it, it was hyped up big. We kind of kept an eye on the weather. Going into Friday night, we were going to bed. It was supposed to start around 11. I don't know if it started that early. I slept like a rock all night. Corey let me know she woke up a few times, and a few times the siren was going off here in town. And we haven't really figured out what the siren alerts for anymore. Corey and I were both talking about when we were kids, if the tornado siren was going off, that meant there was a tornado on the ground. It was take cover. You were going to get lifted up, sent to Oz. It's on. Like you need to get the hell out of the way. And it doesn't seem like that anymore. It seems like the siren goes off for severe thunderstorms, possibly tornado watches. I don't know what the criteria is, but when you wake up at 4 a.m. and the siren's going off and you don't know what the criteria is and it's dark and it's cloudy. Corey said she was trying to look for funnel clouds and the lightning strikes. And the shitty part about your internet going down when the weather gets shitty is so does your weather apps. But we rode through. It wasn't horrible overnight. Lots of heavy rains. John Palmer saying not tornadoes, really just high winds all day Friday, 60 to 80 mile an hour all day out there in Oklahoma. Overnight it wasn't bad. It calmed down a little bit in the morning. We were able to get the dogs a little walk, and then we got some pretty decent downpours. It was what it was. I mean, watching the weather constantly, things were changing, things were updating, getting better, getting worse, and it just worked out to where we didn't really have any threats of tornadoes, which is nice. Corey and I discussed it again this year. We are kind of in a messed up situation. Being in the camper, we don't have a real safe place to go, even going into the truck. We've discussed that. There is a shelter in town. There's community shelter, but I highly doubt we'll be welcomed in with our 2 dogs. I haven't checked this, but I just have a feeling, and I don't know if I want to deal with that either. Better than being dead kind of thing, but And Corey and I talked about it, and we're like, if we can't, Corey would rather ride out a tornado and take her chances of being unalived by the tornado than go to the shelter and have something happen to her dogs. Like, she would rather be here with them and die with them, I think. And so we've resigned ourselves to the fact that until we have our cabin, until we can dig a shelter of our own, that we can take our family with us. Because, I mean, in reality, would you leave your kids at home to go stay in the shelter if they didn't let your kids come? And that's where she's at. And the snails, too. I don't think she's going to take the snails with her. So we just, it's one of those things where you roll the dice. And if we got to move, we got to move. Our camper is in a place where right now it would take a long time for us to button up. We've been here long enough that everything is taken out and set up to be stationary. So we're not going to be out rolling away with a tornado threat. Maybe drive the truck. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when it comes to it. Hopefully, this storm season, knock on wood, is light and we can roll through with not much issue. But lots of hype coming into this storm, and it was a nasty storm. Don't get me wrong. I think I was reading that at least 50 tornadoes touched down out of the storm. It's a lot. Just happened to be not many in our area. So we will see. I did see a report that that tornado did some pretty significant damage in one of the southeast Missouri towns I used to stay at when I come down and snow goose hunt every spring for a few years. For about 4 years in a row, we stayed in Kennett, Missouri, and it looks like they got rocked pretty hard by a tornado. So it's interesting when you see those little names come up. It's not a big town by any means. And the fact that we had stayed there so often, I saw that name pop up, and it really rang a bell. So I hope everybody's weather went all right. I hope none of your loved ones experienced any crazy tornadoes or any loss or anything like that. Hunter says, yep, straight line winds too. They'll set the sirens off. I don't know how much straight line winds we get here. We're pretty... we have some pretty good hills and valleys, I think, that knock that down a little bit. I don't know. So that was the weather. And one thing with the weather is it was almost an opportunity to see how our new driveway and road construction went. Little update on that. I don't think it had been started any more progress when I talked last week. I think that was everything past Monday. But the guy that was doing our driveway we were able to finally get loads of rock back into the property far enough that they could drop it and we could get it put on the driveway. He has had it cut in for quite a while, but just couldn't get the trucks back there to drop the rock. And then in that job, when I was talking to him about that, I asked him about fixing the road, the access road. So the access road is long. Any of you that have been here and have drove back in there, it's kind of long and hilly and windy. And if you were there at last Gully Days, we had just gotten a significant rain event, and you could see where the last hill before you get to Tim's property, it really washes out with any significant rain. And then if you get multiple rain events in a row, it washes out even more and more. And the issue lies not necessarily in how rough it is, but when you're leaving and going up the hill, it gets pretty slick out there when it's wet with the clay base. And all the rock has kind of washed out from the repeated rain events. When you're going up it gets kind of slick, and then you start bouncing in the washout and the runoffs, and so you let the gas off the gas, or your foot bounces off the gas, and then you are stopped on an incline, and you try to start again, and you have no traction. So that was a significant issue. When you started to go again, you kind of slid, and it was just a real shitty deal. It had been fixed a couple of times, kind of fixed, I would say, but it still continued to wash out. So the drainage wasn't fixed right. The road was smoothed out. but the drainage was never fixed. So I talked to Tim. I talked to Mario, our buddy that was doing the driveway work. He owns some properties out there around that last hill too. And I said, hey, while you're out, while you have the equipment out, while you're getting the rock delivered, how much would it be to fix this hill last and for once and for all? Let's fix the road. Let's put some drainage in, culvert if we need to. Let's figure this out so every time it rains, it doesn't fuck the road up. He took a look. He gave us a quote. Tim and I were both happy with the quote. We've come to determine that the other person on the road there by us will not be putting any funds in. And we've started doing quotes without her help. So it is what it is at this point. Split the job between Mario and Tim and I, and that and the driveway minus a load of rock or two. We still need a load of rock or two up at the top, but it got done on Friday morning, Thursday afternoon. I think he might have finished up Friday during the day because we were going to get rain overnight Friday night. Finished the road contour, the ditch, the culvert, and regrading the end of our driveway because it ended up being that the low point of all the drainage was right across from our new driveway. So basically we brought a culvert across the easement road down into by our driveway, through our culvert, and down into a drainage area that is naturally where the water ended up anyway. Now it just has a way to get across the road without washing it out. I haven't been out there since it was done, and we got some significant rain. We were supposed to get, I think, 4.5 inches to 5 inches. I think we got all of 3, maybe 4, depending where we were. Obviously, we're 20 miles away, so the weather's a little different there, and it was downpours, so the way it worked out, I don't know how much rain we got out there. But I'm going to head out today. I'm going to see how the driveway held up. I'm going to see how the ditch and the road held up. When I was out there on Thursday, I believe it was Thursday I went out. I was able to drive to the top of the driveway up to our build site. Driveway turned out really nice. If it holds up, if the construction is good, it doesn't wash out. It's going to be really nice. It's like I said, we got a couple more loads of rock to come in. We're going to put a little parking pad, turnaround area at the top. But man, the driveway, it was nice. Not as steep as I had assumed. I don't feel it's as steep as some of the hills on the easement road. No slipping, no sliding or anything on the way up or down with the truck. Nice and smooth. Mario was nice enough to drag the trailer with all the solar panels back, dragged it up to our build site. So that's there to be unloaded. Hadn't been able to get that back since I went and got those on the other side of the state. So that's really nice. So the driveway and the road are looking good. When I see what happens when I get out there today, we'll make a lot of headway towards going and getting on the schedule for the folks to come and put up the posts and the roof, the posts and the trusses and the roof for the rough structure of the cabin. So we'll see what the road, how it held out with, and how much rain that got out there. But excited. At least one more step here. And anything else would just be fixing anything that was wrong. And from looking at it, I don't think that's a problem. Good morning, Chris Dixon. Thanks for stopping in. Says, no naders, just 8 inches of snow in Kanukistan. Dixon says, now with evidence of development, are you concerned with Snoopy people? We'll put a gate at the bottom of the driveway. We are at the end of a we are at the end of a one-way easement, or a one-way access road, I guess. I guess it's an easement. It was developed already. There was someone that lived behind us. And then Tim already had the beginnings of a driveway there. In the winter, you could already see the sheds we put up, Tim's cabin, the outhouse. You could see all that stuff from the easement road. If you're back there, you're looking for something anyway. I think if you were exploring back there, you were up to looking for shit already. But yeah, with that brand new driveway going right up to our build site, we'll probably put a gate across the bottom of it. And also we got, there's eyes on the way in and out of the road. So concerned with Snoopy people, you gotta be anyway. I really think if you're in and out of there at all, you're gonna need to be concerned. But as soon as the leaves come in, it's really nice. Everything is pretty hidden. So we'll see. Yeah, I'll be excited to be out there. I'll be excited to be out there full time. Have to worry about my stuff being there and me not. But yeah, precautions have been taken. Precautions have been taken for the stuff that's already out there. So it's a good point. But it is what it is, and it's isolated enough. It's not necessary. It's not a highly populated area. It's not a heavy traffic road on the main road, the paved road, and then with almost all of the residents on, not all the properties on the easement road, we know everybody back there. So I think it turns into we'll just kind of keep an eye on everybody's going to keep an eye on everything. And there's only one full-time person beyond Jamie. So Jamie lives in the first property coming into the easement road, and then the lady at the end of the road is the other full-time resident. So everybody else it's a recreational or vacation property. So shouldn't be much traffic as it is. And there's some spots on that road, if you were going back there, that I would probably, if I was looking for an easy in and out, or an easy or someplace to go exploring, or either nefarious or not, I think if I got started back that road, there's plenty of places I would turn around before I got to where we are, because you don't know. You don't know what you don't know what's at the end of the road. So that's a nice thing. So anyway, before we go on to the last segment I got here about the conspiracy theory that got thrown up in my face, I want to talk about the Blockstream Jade hardware wallet. If you're stacking sats, if you got any sort of pile of Bitcoin, you're going to need a solid hardware wallet. If you've waited, if you're worried you're not going to be able to figure it out, I definitely think you should check out the Blockstream Jade or the Jade Plus. They're ones that I've used. I've used the Jade for quite a while now, and I have my hands on the Jade Plus. I've been messing around with that since it came out earlier this year. You can head over to Blockstream. You can get 10% off with discount code The Lots Project, or by using the link down in the video and audio description. Man, the Jade is it's easy enough for a beginner. It is advanced enough and has enough customizable options for the advanced user. And with the upgraded Jade Plus version, you can kind of pick your poison for sure. If you use the Fold card, if you're down here in the US and you use the Fold card, definitely check out the Blockstream gift cards before you purchase. Buy one of those gift cards, get some sats back on Fold, head on over there, get 10% off discount with my code. Get your Blockstream, get some extra sats, and get a discount. It all works together. So the Blockstream Jade and Jade Plus, my recommended hardware wallets. All right. New conspiracy theory. Let me get some coffee for this shit. So the other morning, I guess every morning I post on Noster just a good morning post, a daily post. It's not all I post there, but consistently every day. I think I've missed maybe 1 or 2 days over the last 6 months to a year. But every day I go and I post a morning post. I get different people that say hello. It's a good morning post. And if you're on Noster, you know GM and PV and all the little quirky things that happen over there. GM as in good morning. And I got a comment. I can't really remember if it was on the good morning post. I think it was, because I was sitting there drinking coffee, and that's how I ended up going down the rabbit hole. But somebody replied and had a comment, and I jumped on their profile, and their profile was all about asking questions if people had been a participant in a gifted and talented program in school. I'm going to pull up some other notes here if I can find them while I'm talking. But it I was like, I remember this. I was in the gifted and talented program. I was here we go. I do remember this. I remember back in, so this was when I was a kid. It was 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, I believe. You got, it wasn't a class. It wasn't a class path. It was just like a bonus enrichment pull out from the regular class type of thing. Like a couple times a week for an hour or two, they came and they got you out of class and they took us over to an auxiliary building, and we did weird shit. Just different projects from school. It wasn't the same type of learning, the same type of projects, the same type of anything. Abstract learning is kind of how I described it when we were talking about it in the Telegram group. But she asked if anybody had been in it, and then there's questions underneath it in her profile that says, "Do you experience this? Have you experienced that? Have you blah blah blah?" La, 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 la. And I'm like reading them. I'm like, oh yeah, this kind of sets in line with me. I resonate with quite a bit of this. And as I got down to the bottom of her profile, it says, "Have you looked into the conspiracy theory behind the gifted and talented education programs?" And I hadn't until now. So now I have a new thing to look at. Now to kind of quantify the time period I'm talking about, I figured out that it would have been like 1988 through 1991. Chris Dixon says, just another way to get you beat up in middle school. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, this was 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. But I do remember it a little bit. I definitely remember participating. I remember getting pulled out of class. I remember the instructor's name, actually, is the odd thing. But I did a little sleuthing on the interwebs, and this is kind of some of the stuff I got back. Conspiracy theorists who speculate about gifted and talented education, the GATE program, in the late 80s and 90s often suggest that participants may experience unusual symptoms or life patterns. These theories are not supported by mainstream science, weird, or the education research, weird, but they typically include claims related to behavioral, cognitive, and psychological effects. Now, in the Telegram group, we had some interesting. I had some interesting feedback. I think it was Mona said, all the symptoms you described, because I pasted this research back over on in the Telegram group. She said these all kind of align with low-level ADHD or low-level autism, and I was like, well, that it is what it is, but it's kind of like a chicken or an egg thing. Did the gifted and talented program spur or foster the workings of your brain that way, or were they identifying these symptoms and trying to develop educational systems to help them, or were they honestly just trying to enrich students that they thought had talents? I don't know. Am I special? I don't think so. But we are. I was there. There I was. I do have to say I did well in middle school in like standardized math tests. Never really was a fan of the other stuff, but math came really easy to me, so that might have landed me in one of these programs. So some of the common symptoms and experience mentioned in the conspiracy theories written out. John Palmer says Brian and Rain Man do kind of rhyme. Common symptoms and experiences mentioned in the general conspiracy theories around this topic. You got increased sensitivity, you got heightened intuition or a sixth sense, sensitivity to electromagnetic fields, frequencies, or energy shifts, and more intense emotional or sensory processing, lights, sounds, and textures. Just go back and listen to any episode about grounding and frequencies and resonance and nature and things like that. Kind of in tune with that. Unusual cognitive abilities and memory issues, enhanced pattern recognition or problem solving skills. I don't know. It's only what I did for a living for a decade. Fluctuating IQ or brain fog at times, occasionally difficult reading, recalling childhood memories. I kind of remember being in this program. Feeling as if knowledge downloads into the mind. I got a lot of personal experiences over the years that really align with a lot of these things, and it's way too much to dive into on this episode. I'm monitoring this conspiracy theory to determine if it's something I want to latch onto long term. But number 3, paranormal or supernatural encounters, increased reports of deja vu or precognition. Different periods of my life, I've been on like a constant deja vu trip, like frequent deja vu, and some precognition. There's been some things that I've dug into on that. Vivid dreams with complex coded messages. I tell Corey about my dreams, and she's like, "Are you kidding me?" She rarely remembers her dreams, and I am constantly waking up in the middle of vivid and odd dreams. Encounters with shadow people or lucid dreaming experiences, feeling guided or watched by unknown entities. I'm not a paranoid schizophrenic, I swear, but that guy's watching me. Number 4, emotional and social struggles, difficulty conforming to traditional work and school structures, periods of extreme loneliness or feeling alien from others, a strong anti-authority mindset or questioning of societal structures, health anomalies, unusual allergies or autoimmune responses. I don't know about unusual. I don't know about unusual or autoimmune responses. Unexplained headaches or neurological symptoms. Sudden, intense upgrades in awareness or perception. Going on, MK Ultra or mind control theories. Some believe the GATE program was a front for cognitive testing, brainwave monitoring, or conditioning experiments. Theorists claim that sleeper agent triggers or post-hypnotic suggestions could be implanted. Reports of missing time or gaps in memory from school years. Let me go on for a second. Deep fascination or esoteric knowledge, drawn to philosophy, metaphysics, quantum mechanics, or the occult. Early exposure to advanced or cryptic materials not usually taught in public schools, and feeling an innate mission or purpose that is difficult to define. Now, this list is like a fucking horoscope. I think this list could randomly here and there be applied to most anybody, especially most anybody searching for parallels and conspiracy theories. Chris Dixon says, if you ever thought you were on a list, I can say yes to 95% of these, right? So the list is very generic and plain, and I think that's the point. But the conclusion here, most of these claims stem from speculation, personal anecdotes, and patterns observed in those who excelled in non-traditional ways. While it's true the GATE program focused on critical thinking, creativity, and problem solving, there's no public evidence that they were linked to secret government mind control experiments. However, the overlap of gifted education with cognitive psychology research has fueled these conspiracy theories. Hunter says, what you want to bet the number of people in just these groups were in GATE? I asked in my group, and quite a few folks participated. John Palmer says, I don't remember much of anything before the age of maybe 10. I do remember bits and pieces. I do remember like some weird shit, and yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying that this was an MK Ultra or a similar psyop or something development, or like I said, were they trying to figure out education, how to educate different personality or different brain makeup, whatever. Were they researching it? Were they trying to make things better? I don't know what the deal was, but when it comes down to it, naming some program gifted and talented and presenting it to parents as a way to enrich your child, I think they get kind of a blank sheet to play around with. I think, especially in the 80s, 90s, if you presented parents with the fact that their child was special, that their child was above average, that we want to put them in a classroom and do some alternative teaching methods, or try to stimulate their creativity or whatever their gift is, I don't think there's a lot of pushback. I don't think there's a lot of resistance. I think you would pretty much have the students like putty in your hands. Not that the public education system, and we can look at that right now, where kids are going to school and they're upfront about the fact that they're secretive about what they're teaching your kids. At this time, you could literally get permission to do whatever the fuck you wanted with the kids. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's something to contemplate. Will I dive down the road any further? I don't know. I am not sure, but it was definitely a fun thing this was what I was poking around looking at when we were having all the storms and we were basically trapped inside and really couldn't do a whole lot because at any point our internet was going off and on. And so Corey and I hung out, watched some TV and looked at this stuff. Hunter says, now with the psych issues with these special kids, is this just a bummed out adult trying to make themselves special again? I don't think so. I did have the thought of, so obviously we know that the rates of autism, slight to severe, and ADHD and all these diagnoses are through the roof. And there's all sorts of theories out there to why the jabs, the baby jabs, all the different shit that are blamed on increased autism, increased ADHD. Has anybody ever thought that it was stimulated through both education and obviously ADHD, the short attention spans of the world right now? But can these things be encouraged, developed, and enriched through early childhood education? Could there have been research both for and against that with kids, identifying different patterns in kids and saying, can we bring this further out in them, or can we learn different ways to teach them? There's so many different avenues this could go down. So Hunter says, oh yeah, look into telepathy tapes. Yeah. It's something. So if you were in this program, in any of these programs as a child, man, join the Telegram group. Let us in. Let us know. t.me/LotsChat. t.me/LotsChat. Leave a comment on the podcast or any social media post where you see me out anywhere. I'd love to see your experiences with the gifted and talented program. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to be starting to try to keep this too close to an hour to get out of here. We're kind of changing up our routines around here and doing some different stuff. But let's recap what we talked about today. My handyman job and then disappointment after getting asked to quote a bunch of gigs and not able to legally. You can go back and listen to that quick. Also talked about the weather we had over Friday night, Saturday, the driveway and roadwork progress out at DG and our future cabin site, and then the new gifted and talented theory that is on my radar. I want to thank everybody that's been hanging out. John Palmer, Chris Dixon, Hunter over on Twitch. Appreciate you guys being here. Anyway, if you guys want to support the show, you can scroll down in the video description, in the audio description. I got links down there that when you click those, I earn a little bit of commission. I got a link for the AI workshop, Joshua Hale's AI workshop, 100% recommend you take that. It's worth the money. Blockstream Jade, if you're looking to get a hardware wallet to hold your sats, hold your Bitcoin as we run into the bull run. After we get over this little dip, we'll bounce up and you're going to be happy you had a hardware wallet. Got a link for Ember, the Ember app. Come over and earn Bitcoin with me daily. Basically hit a button once a day and start your little mini miner on your phone, and it adds up. I think I'm up to about $90 withdrawn in sats. Also links down there for the Fold Debit Card. You get a 20,000 sat bonus when you sign up and use your card for the first time. I get a little kickback too of some Satoshis. Appreciate that. And you can always find a bunch of products over on the Amazon storefront. Link down in the show. Guys, if you enjoyed today's show, be sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone you might find it interesting. Take the episode, share it with somebody you know that might want to listen to it. Maybe they were in gifted and talented. Maybe they're a handyman here in Tennessee, and they can tell me there is a way around these laws or anything else they'd like to hear about the show. I will be back next Monday to talk about God knows what's going to happen this week. Got a lot of time to spend out at DG. I think things are going to start popping here pretty quick, and we'll be seeing a lot of growth in the next few weeks. So I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you have a fantastic day, and we will catch up with you next week.